can put too much importance on having a purpose if you think it's the one thing you're supposed to do for the rest of your life. It's funny, like Betty, our nanny, asked me, like, do you think you're living your Dharma? And I was like, my immediate response was about to be like, yes, of course I am. And then I thought about it, and I spent some time talking with her about it. And I'm like, what is your Dharma? Is it possible? Maybe for some people, but for some reason in my life, I think my Dharma is a constantly shifting target that I miss by an inch every time. But the journey of the fire of firing that arrow and trying to hit it and kind of like what you've been saying, like tuning in and being like, well, this isn't right for me right now.
Yeah.
Like I feel good when I do it, but is it serving the greatest utility or the greatest purpose? And like, but then maybe the greatest purpose isn't always the thing we should be serving. Maybe sometimes we have to serve ourselves.
And that is indirectly serving the greater purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's this interesting thing where I think everyone loves to like wrap it up with a little bow and be like, your Dharma is service, and you can find that, and you can be Mother Teresa for the rest of your life, and then you will be happy. It's like, and then you will be happy?
And that's what I was saying about how, like, people are like, oh my God, you must be so lucky you found your purpose at an early age. And I'm like, is this my purpose? Because it didn't give me what I emotionally was seeking.
Right.
And I don't know still what that is that I am emotionally seeking.
But that's so important for people to say.
Yeah.
Because it's the exploration of that becomes a better purpose than finding it in the way, the journey, right?
And that's what I mean. Going back to the very first thing that we were talking about, it's because the light within us doesn't want to find an end goal.
No.
It doesn't want to find the truth. It wants to continue to expand.
It's beautiful.
And that's the purpose.
Exactly. Expansion. And I think through that expansion, we'll always go through different little passions and services and purposes.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like maybe at some point you reach a point when you're like, even what you're saying now, like, channeling, I can do it. But I feel like now I'm even moving to a greater expansion of, the light language activation or the human design and all of these things. And it's everlastingly, like, it's shifting constantly.
Absolutely.
Even for us, like, we see it even.
We've
been doing, like, yoga videos, and now we're trying, bring this podcast together, and we're creating new things. And it's a constant evolution. And nothing's ever last forever. You know what I mean? Everything has its end. And so it's just a constant flow of finding that new passion.
To master an artful way of living, I think, is to also recognize when you've been doing something for almost too long and having the guts to shift. But also when you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing and having the guts to shift.
Yeah,
so it's like
right?
this constant, like, not staying too late at the party and being that last guy there for the next 25 years.
Right.
But also, like, getting what you need out of it and knowing when you're getting something of value. So, okay, I should stay here a little longer.
Yeah.
But when too long is too much, to step aside and be like, now I need to go and explore expansion somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because if I had 1,000,000 lifetimes, I'd spend a year doing everything.
Right,
But but to live a rich and empowered life of diversity and experience and as much of people's wisdom. Again, that's why I like the shortcut here of the podcast that she's saying, because we get to spend 2 hours with you, like, soaking in your wisdom. And then the next podcast we do, we get to soak in more. And so it's like, there's like little micro doses, and that's why I love listening to podcasts, because you get these micro doses that aren't like 10 minutes long, but they're like real, like like meaty kind of experiences of what people have to offer. So if I had that opportunity to live 1,000,000 lifetimes, like, I'd spend a year doing everything I possibly could, 1 year, and then cut it to that. But we're limited, right? Like, we only have, like, if we're lucky, 70, 80, 90 years.
So we have to keep expanding.
So expansion, right?
Expansion is the key. But just to bring it back, because I really want to know what is the light language.
Oh my God, yes.
we started in that, and then we kind of went into a beautiful conversation about another thing. But you were talking about the Akash and like the Akashic Records, right?
So our souls all come from this library, this living, breathing library of everything that is, was, and ever will be. And because that's the only thing that is, was, and ever will be, our souls come from that.
So it is the record of our souls and every lifetime that our souls goes through. It's like recorded in this astral type of plane. Is that, am I right to kind of imagine that? Okay.
Yes. And within that, though, the Akash, because it stores everything that is, was, and ever will be, it has languaging. You can think of it kind of like, imagine like a locker room where you have all these different possible codes to open up each locker. the locker code of the Akash has a language. And not just one language. It has many dialects, sub-dialects within that, right? We can take that example and we can like put it in an earthly form and be like, okay, there are so many ethnicities, so many races, so many religions on planet Earth, so many languages, so many dialects, so many different pronunciations, right? And so the Akash is no different. The only difference from like Earth and the Akash is that within the Akash, they have different kind of like codings or languagings for different purposes. So the light language is a language of the Akash. Okay. It's that's the best way I could put it. And within that, the dialects that I channel are meant for healing purposes. And ultimately, this is a really interesting journey as well about how I started like using light language. Is the first time I saw it was actually in a meditation. And I went to that blissful state, and all of a sudden I saw these stars and I saw these characters made up of light. And as I saw the characters coming down, it was like a screen in front of me coming down, I started hearing harmonics corresponding to each symbol. And I just thought, oh, this is so beautiful. Like, I don't want to get out of this space. This is an amazing space to be in. How do I give this experience to people? And I used to sing as a kid and in musical theater, but I don't really like sing professionally. I'll sing in the shower sometimes, or like for fun, but never trained, right? And so what I would do is I'd put the record on my phone and I'd go into meditation, I'd wait, and then suddenly I'd be in that headspace and I'd start singing these frequencies. And I realized as I started hearing it and then singing it, it was like I was wearing these headphones again. My ears are ringing talking about it. It's like I'd be wearing these headphones, like these like galactic headphones, and I would start just singing these frequencies. And again, kind of similar to when I'm channeling like in English,
right?
An alien language in English, I wouldn't hear what I'm singing. I'd be aware that I was singing. I just couldn't hear myself sing.
You actually wouldn't even hear sound.
No. So when I'm in that state, it's also trance. So I'm not really there. Well, there.
Right.
And then I would listen back and I'd hear my voice do these crazy things that I can't do just in my like waking state.
Wow.
And so I thought, well, this is really interesting. Like, this is kind of cool. Like, let's explore this. And I would get, as I would channel a light language activation, I call them, which is like a little light language song. You can think of it that way. You just sit with it and you close your eyes and you just kind of meditate to it. And you just let the frequency just kind of penetrate inside of you. And each frequency is made for a different thing. So I have a bundle on my website for sleep and calm. I have one for like activating your intuition.
So this is something people can just purchase and download and then listen to at any time.
Anytime.
Oh,
yeah. And
really cool.
And it's really amazing. Like I all different types of people listen to it. I have a client of mine who I worked with. She loves listening to them, but she just had triplets. And she said to get them calm at night, she listens to the calm bundle, and all of a sudden they'll be crying, and then they'll listen to it, and then it's silent. And they
try that.
And they go
we
to
should
sleep.
try that with the kid again, for sure. When he has his tantrums.
Yeah. Do you have a tantrum bundle?
Yeah.
I haven't downloaded that one yet.
Channel that one next time.
Yeah. Or we'll just call you up and we can try some things out in the room.
They'd be like, "What's this?" There was another client of mine. She had a 5-year-old at the time, and whenever she said she put it on, the 5-year-old's autistic. She's on the spectrum, and whenever she put on one of the light language activations, she would start smiling, and she would like look around the room, and she'd start like smiling and laughing, and like it's almost, her mom said, it's like she's seeing the beings. Or she's so seeing beautiful. The language.
Wow.
So is it like a song?
Well, the way that I translate it is like it, but when I first started hearing it, like I said, it was just like I started singing it, and then that stopped, and then I started writing it, and then I'd be in sessions, and I'd start speaking it. Like a language.
Well, when you write it, were you writing like musical notes, or were you?
No, they're like symbols.
Symbols.
Yeah.
Symbols in English, or how
no.
would you?
It's like it's like its own.
So how would you know
symbol.
what they mean?
So here's the thing. So everyone has a connection to light language. That's the thing I want to say.
Okay.
Because as long as the light language is connected to the Akash, and our souls are coming from the Akash, are a part of the everything that is, was, and ever will be, we have a unique connection to it as well. And the way that that connection might come to us is different, right? So my journey of light language evolved from just being able to first hearing it and then singing it. And then I stopped singing it and it turned into writing it. And then it turned into signing it. Like I was signing it with my hands.
Wow.
And then I started singing it again. So it's so different. And that's the thing with channeling is the minute we try to put, and I think this is really one of the major things with why people say, oh, but she's a channel and she's able to connect to these energies and I'm not. The minute we say, I'm not like that, we cut ourselves off. We literally put resistance in our path from ever having the opportunity to experience it. And that's the thing
so
with flow state is
so true.
The minute you try to define flow state or when it happens, it stops happening.
Yes.
Because as like I like when people are like, well, who do you channel and what do you channel? And I'm like, I like name a few things, but that doesn't even encompass it all. Like I've recently had experiences where I'm channeling in Portuguese. Yeah, I don't even. English is my only language. Like so. But that's what I mean is I don't try to say, okay, I only sing light language.
Right.
Yeah.
I only talk with the Andromedans. I only channel the Pleiadians. The minute I do that, even if it's